Alright, we're doing another replay coaching, again on Mr. Fearless Oreos and his Sylas mid lane. So, this game, he actually played this after the previous 3 videos came out. So, hopefully he's able to learn from those videos, and we'll see him utilizing some of that knowledge in this game here. Haven't watched any of this game yet. I know that they won. Yeah, it's going in completely blind as normal. And yeah, we also added some objective timers over here just so we know exactly, when Dragon and Baron are gonna spawn. I wish I could get rid of the bus because those aren't really important, but I'm not sure how to do that. So, yeah. I also did realize how you can view the gold. If I hit X here, it will tell us their current gold and the total gold. So, if we see him go back and he doesn't buy control word again, then we'll be able to know if he actually had enough gold or not. So he's starting Q into Viktor. That is pretty nice. It's really hard to trade in the Viktor early because he takes Q level 1. Viktor's actually a really annoying matchup recently. If they know what they're doing, they'll just poke you a lot. It's kind of miserable. I played it a couple times recently. But just gotta get the CS that you can. He's actually up in CS right now up in potential CS because they have the same CS numbers, but the enemy there are more enemy minions up than his, which unfortunately did not last long because he did miss the 2 casters that were there. But yeah, you just gotta play this lane pretty safe. Try and farm with Q. It's really hard to really trade with him. His range is just so long, and his damage is really high. So here, we see on the minimap that Mastery is invading Zac, so it's a bit hard when you have like this wave position to really do much. But you kind of just got to get it into a state. You can't actually help your Master E here. He's too far away and he's inside the enemy jungle. So yeah, like Sylas should just stay mid here. But at this point, okay, yeah, at this point he can't actually roam because Master Yi came up towards him. But like if Master Yi stayed on the wolves the entire time, there's nothing Sylas can do. You just got to keep the wave in a favorable position for yourself and punish Viktor for roaming. Okay, at this point I think maybe he should have thinned the wave a little, but he needed to roam there because it was more towards river. But it looked like it didn't matter. But maybe I should be a bit more clear with what I was saying. Mastery was on the enemy wolves, and there's not really much Sylas can do, especially with his wave state. So you got to focus on getting your wave into a favorable state. Like there, Viktor lost an entire wave because he tried to roam. Didn't get anything off of it, but because it was pushing into Sylas. Yeah, and with the level advantage, you can get a nice trade. Viktor's also out of mana, so good trade there. But yeah, once Mastery roamed up towards, or started walking up towards the river, then you can start to go and help him. If you had the wave pushed under like the enemy turret, then you could start roaming almost immediately, but it's not how the wave state was, so you just gotta hope that your jungler doesn't int. And so Sylas can actually go for a kill here. If Viktor stands outside his minion wave so that he can land E, like just E2 plus Ignite plus W will do enough damage really to kill him. Plus like an auto or 2. It's another decent trade there. I would have maybe waited for him to walk up a bit more because being able to land an E2 on him is basically instant death for the Viktor. He doesn't really have any mana. I'd also, I mentioned this in another video, but when their mana is low like this, I like to click on them and see exactly how much they have. So I'd be like, okay, this Viktor has 100 mana, so he can cast like 1 more ability. which, you know, his E cost 90, it's quite a lot, so. I think his Q's like 45, like, interesting. Yeah, Viktor walks up here. Ooh, I think he barely lives. That is unfortunate. Was good from the Sylas though. If that second Q hit, he definitely would have died, but unfortunately the Zac did come, so a good flash, good reactive flash there to get out of the Zac E, but fortunately I think he did panic his Q a little bit because he saw the Zac coming. And that reminds me, I've had it on full vision the entire game. Unless we're gonna change that. So at this point, the wave is kind of doomed. Yeah, Viktor just lets us push. It's really rough. But Sylas has no health and no mana. There's not really much you can do. It is mid lane, fortunately, and so here he did go back with about 1,300 gold. Was able to get Dark Seal plus 2 Amp Tomes. So that's really nice. No control ward. He didn't have enough gold for one. If he did, I would recommend selling the biscuit for the control ward. Selling the biscuit, it still gives you the maximum mana increase, so you only lose out on the healing part that you would get from activating it. Yeah, it looks like he did miss about half a wave. Ashe is roaming mid. Ashe is the enemy support. I think he could have gone in there. I think he was a little bit panicked. But definitely, like, he could have taken the Ashe ult immediately and then immediately tried to engage on the Ashe. Maybe it would have been a bit risky considering Viktor was there and he was level 6, but I mean, that Ashe is really squishy. And Ashe ult does a lot of damage, so. Also, looking at the scoreboard, his team is not doing very well overall, so. You know, being able to get a kill like that would have been really nice. To just help him stay in the game. But overall, I mean, his CS is pretty good. He did have to miss a little bit. Again, Viktor's just running out of mana over and over again. So Sylas can definitely just abuse this guy once his mana starts to drop. Right here, he can hard engage and there's nothing Viktor can do. Because Viktor can't even cast a spell. Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Ignite was a bit wasted. There's no way that's ever killing him. I probably would have ignited, you know, when I was actually comboing him. I don't think it would have killed him. Well, I mean, it wouldn't have killed him because it would have done the same damage overall, but there's not really a reason to ignite afterwards like that when you already knew he wasn't going to die. Ooh, and I think, actually, I wanted to go back here. This is on 12.8. So the Sylas ult cooldown buffs are actually live. And so his ult just came up here. So he's actually able to take this Viktor ult here because of the ult buffs. That's kind of nice. Let's see, is he going to be able to use it here? Okay, it's actually kind of invisible, but it does help him kill the Zac. So you know the ult buffs are actually pretty impactful there. I didn't even realize the Master E was there. I kind of got distracted by the fact that Viktor ult was invisible, but his Viktor ult was invisible. I mean, you can just walk topside here. He could kill this Ashe, but not while she's under tower. So also his mana is a bit low, so maybe not. But the red buff definitely improves that fighting power. So, okay, there. So he had 90 gold left over after he bought his Everfrost components, and he had a biscuit in his inventory. Fortunately, he did sell the biscuit and went for the control word, so that, as I said earlier, would be something that I'd recommend. Control words are just really strong. Especially with Ashe roaming mid a lot, it's nice to have that extra ward in the bot side. Or if you want to do it in top side, that's also fine. You can also kind of use the control words to bait a little bit. Like Ashe will probably underestimate you. And so if you like place a control word and you know that she's going to walk into it, you can kind of set up a trap and then engage on her from far away with your E. So Zolt's already back up. Um, thanks to the buffs, he's probably not gonna get a chance to use it anytime soon. So, in this situation, old buffs are not doesn't really matter that much. But it's less about when you're actually able to take it. And there, I don't know. I think he only pinged once. That the Viktor was missing. Also, you had to stay mid there for sure. And as we're getting an assist, but his wave state is really bad. He's gonna miss this entire wave. I mean, Viktor died, so this is eventually gonna go under tower before Viktor gets back, and he's gonna lose it. But considering how well he could have wave cleared there, he definitely just should have just stayed and let his Mastery and Scion deal with them top lane, or just spent a little bit of extra time pushing the wave to make sure it went under tower, and then started roaming. Because there he just missed a wave. Because the wave state was just bad. But Mastery did get the Rift Herald in the mid lane. Looks like he's going to get the tower gold. So he should be really strong right now. He needs about, I think it's only like, no, he needs like about 650 gold for the Everfrost. He has 1100. So we can go back here, get the Everfrost. Then probably, he'll get his boots once he sells, or once he buys. Can't buy anything else. Probably, he could get an Am Tome, but there's not really anything that I'd really sell for that. Maybe they're refillable, but you know, you don't really need the Am Tome, so that's fine. And here, okay, so Viktor just TP'd top. I think we saw that on the ward. And Sylas did not ping. Okay, some decent wave clear, missed one minion. Yeah, Sylas should be pinging the Viktor's TP when he does that. I'm not sure if he's paying attention, but I'm pretty sure it was on the ward that he placed in the middle of the lane, so it should be pretty easy to spot. And I think that he forgot, maybe. Okay, that is a waste of... That is a bit of a waste of a stopwatch. Nice job from the Sylas. I like the Tryndamere ult there. Viktor ult does a lot more damage, obviously, because Tryndamere ult does none, but... a situation like this, where, I mean, he knows he's going to kill the Viktor. Tryndamere kill is pretty secured as well. You don't really need the extra damage. Getting the Tryndamere ult utility is quite nice, because it just makes sure that you won't die. And then, I mean, dying it'd mean you'd lose your Dark Steel stacks. You give a bounty to the enemy team. So overall, you know, wouldn't recommend dying. At least when you can help it. A small thing there, I mean, he didn't, he could have eat a bit closer. He didn't need to eat into tower range there, I think. He still could have wave cleared. So Viktor comes back up. Good luck for a kill on the Viktor. But, again, I wouldn't do anything like too risky here. Just because there's not really much of a point. Not sure, how much gold does he have? He has 2400 here, so yeah, he's probably wanting to go back. Can buy the Sorcerer's Shoes plus Need to Seal Large Rod would be what I would do on this amount of gold. And a nice little trade there. I've said it before, I really like playing Sylas into Tryndamere. I mean, Tryndamere is a disgusting champion, of course, but playing Sylas into Tryndamere, as long as you're not laning against him. Laning directly against him is really annoying. But, like, once you're in the mid game and stuff, you kind of just win against him as long as he's not super fed. Because you do more burst damage than him, so you can force out his ult earlier. And if he ults before you have to use his ult, then you're winning. So he did Everfrost the wave there. I do recommend against that, because you don't really need it, but with the Tryndamere there, he couldn't really go in for a wave clear, and it looked like he was just trying to back, so that is fine. He can buy both components here. Or no, sorry, I misjudged the price. He can, but yes, I would sell the refillable for the Anthem at this point. Yeah, Need to Seal Large Rod is a much better component than the Alternator, so always go for that if you have enough gold. Plus, if you build that first, it lets you. As for Shadow Flame, by the way, Shadow Flame is second item. Plus, if you build it first, then it gives you a better build path because then if you buy the rod first and then you go back with like 800 gold, then you can buy both components and you don't have to just sit there and do nothing. So, it's interesting that he's going top here. I mean, it's fine because he's matching the Trinimir, which he wins against. Normally I'd go bot lane here, but I guess not really much has happened bot lane. Their turrets are basically both full health. I mean, his turrets have health. Yeah, I mean, side laning at top is fine here. It just makes it a little bit weird for the Scion to be able to do much. Because I think Scion should be wanting to side lane. But, I mean, if Scion is content with just doing whatever he's doing in, like, bot river or whatever right now, then side laning top is also an option. It's just that at some point your bot lane should rotate mid, and then your top lane would go bot lane. Most likely. Now, Trinimir does have anti-heal here. Nice. He saved the Trinimir, which was which was a bit scary, but Trinimir seems a bit mad at that. Yeah, again, the Flash W, I've said it so many times, Flash W is just broken because it's instantaneous cast, damage plus heal plus insane mobility. And just Flash Wing on him like that. I think Sylas might have been pretty close to being able to W there, but if he just regularly Ws and Trinimir has time to react and presses his R. So. About this back. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he can take that tower. I think he gets it pretty low. Let's just see how much the minions did. Yeah, I think he gets it pretty low, but Trinimir probably shows up before he's actually able to take that, so backing there is fine. He does go back at the Shadow Flame. He grabs the Stopwatch, which is what I recommend as the first component of Zanya's because it's just such a broken item. So, I mean, that stasis is just so useful on Sylas. And you'll most likely only need to use it once in between your Shadow Flame and your Zanya's. So that having that stopwatch there is just really nice. Because here, I mean, he's 4-0, 9 Dark Seal stacks. If he dies, it's pretty detrimental. So, you know, with stopwatch, makes it less likely that you die. We did come mid again. I mean, at this point, I mean, his bot lane is kind of inting, so I'm not really expecting them to be the most aware players. But I would just walk bot lane here. One thing that you could try to do is just like take the tower with your bot lane. And the problem is then they'd give up mid tower, so his bot lane really just needs to roam mid. Yeah, and Viktor even TP'd bot lane there. So, once he takes this wave, he should rotate bot. And tell his bot lane to rotate. We can see Dragon's up in 50 seconds, so it's soon, but not immediate. So yeah, he can sort of hang out in this river area, maybe make his way towards bot lane, implying that he wants to stay there. Okay, the Ashel is fine. I'm not sure that stopwatch was correct. I would have just kept it autoing the Zac, maybe, but it's fine. I mean, he wasn't really in any immediate danger, so I don't know why he stopwatched there. But yeah, I mean, if you're not in any immediate danger, you don't really need a stopwatch. And there, he definitely could have held it. I mean, maybe he would have needed to use it like a couple of seconds later, just because the Viktor is doing a decent amount of damage. But I mean, he had quite a bit of health left. There was not really much that was gonna harm him there. Mastery ended up dying there. I'm not really sure what hit him, but Sylas should be taking bot wave right now. And I guess you can camp this bush as well. But this, yeah, this is a pretty bad position for him. Yeah, and he didn't have the stasis from earlier. Tristana does end up getting 2 kills, but Sylas did have a shutdown there. Now what he should have done is just walk straight towards bot wave, because Tristana was a little bit off of being able to grab that. Let's see what's happening top lane. But walking towards bot wave and just clearing that really quick, it gives you bot prio for dragon, which is really nice. You can even try and take the turret. The turret seems pretty low. Yeah, I mean, he could have taken the turret there even while they tried to go for a drag. And then let his team sort of regroup around this dragon area. And then he'd have a nice flank from this bot side. His team was on the top side of the map, but you know, I still think he could have taken the turret and then moved up to dragon before they were able to take it. So he bought the Finnish Codex. That's fine. I'm not sure if he had enough gold for the Seekers, but the Seekers he did. But I mean, Seekers is a pretty terrible item now. Fiendish is a lot better. It gives more AP. Doesn't give the armor, but I mean, enemy team doesn't do like a. They're more split. They're not like full physical damage, so. Eight to 6 ult there. I mean that's fine if you just want that for a future fight. You do got to be wary of the per target cooldown on the Tryndamere ult though. It does get a little bit hard to contest him if you don't have his ult up, and you know, you can't take it because it's on the cooldown. Now there, I think, yeah, he had enough gold for the Zanyas, so he went back and got that. If I were in that situation, I would have still gone back, but if I still had the stopwatch up, I probably would have started going bot lane. Building into the full Zanyas doesn't really give that many stats. It'd give him the 45 armor and like 30 AP. But I probably would have like cleared maybe 1 or 2 waves bot lane first and then gone back. So decent combo onto the Viktor. I mean, at this point he does a disgusting amount of damage with 3 items. Plus he's pretty safe. I would have probably Zanya'd the that's a bit of a weird Zanya as well. I probably would have Zanya'd the Zaki and saved the Tryndamere ult, because the Zaki would have CC'd him, but he was still pretty healthy. And he just Tryndamere ulted a bit early there. I think, you know, Zanya'ing the Zaki kind of like throws the Zak off guard because he's expecting you to be CC'd, and then you can just proceed from there. Save your, you'll be able to W once you're out of Zanya's. He'll up even more. You can probably save the Tryndamere ult in case you need it in a bit. And so here he did. Alright, so he had enough gold for a needlessly large rod, and he did buy that instead of going for the Void Staff. Which, as I said in my other videos reviewing his gameplay, he went Void Staff multiple times when he shouldn't have. The only magic resist item the enemy team has right now is Sunfire, and that's on the Zac, who's not really a top priority target. So going for Death Cap instead of Void Staff here is just substantially stronger. So here it's kind of hard. I mean, Zac kind of just like launched himself into him, so I guess that works. I'm not sure if he can actually kill him though, because he did get the ult off, which gives him movement speed. Yeah, diving there is a bit risky. Yeah, at this point you kind of just want to farm up for your Death Cap or your Void Staff if that would be the play for your game, but in this game Death Cap is definitely the correct option. I would have pulled the red buff into the bush. It's just, it gives you, you know, if you're spamming all your abilities on the red buff out in the open and the enemy team catches you, I mean your cooldowns aren't very long, but it can get a bit tricky. Yeah, him being bot lane here is fine. His team's doing Baron, but applying pressure bot lane is nice. His team is strong enough where they should probably win a 4v5 even on Baron. And they do have Master Yi. Oh. Okay, never mind. This Master Yi went Duskblade. So, Master Yi wasted about 3,000 gold on that useless item. Let's see what happens up here. Yeah, they do end up winning. So, then Sylas is just able to, destroy their entire base down here. Did he get the turret? He might get this inhibitor turret. I'm not sure where Tryndamere is. Yeah, Tryndamere finally showed up. I don't know where he was the entire time. So there, he definitely could have comboed a lot faster. I've had a lot of games. Oh, does he barely live here? Wait, I see the Gale Force. That's kind of, that's a bit unfortunate. But, I faced a lot of Tryndameres where, you can actually, like at this point, he had 3.5 items. He could have actually melted the Tryndamere if he just comboed it a lot faster. And the Tryndamere, unless he was like expecting it somehow, then he would not have any chance to react and he would just die without being able to ult. But that just needed, he just needed to be a bit faster there. His combo was a bit spread out between his abilities, so Tryndamere had a bit of time to react. At this point, I mean, enemy team's basically all in Baron here. No, they're not actually, but they're in that area. Dragon's also coming up. It is Soul for his team. Master Yi here should just be going to Dragon. Yeah, I mean, even especially because you see them backing off. What actually happens here? Yeah, Master Yi just goes in and ints. Should've just gone to Dragon, pre-soul, but it's fine. Not related to Sylas, so. Yeah, he did go back there and get the death cap, so he is incredibly strong now. He's about 600 AP. He could honestly soul his dragon. It'd probably take a decent bit of damage, but it's definitely possible. One thing I have noticed, his like auto attacks between abilities are a bit slow. Also, not really sure what's going on in all chat, but like if you're really used to like auto attacking in between abilities, whether it's like on Sylas or on you've practiced on other champions like Jax maybe. Sylas is a bit different because while he gets like 125% attack speed after he casts an ability, so it's like basically an auto reset, but it doesn't actually reset as auto. So it's not like as instant, but it's pretty much the same. And there, I did kind of notice that like he used E1, autoed, and then took a bit before he E2'd. You can just E1, auto, and then instantly E2. And, I mean, it's just, it's not like too big of a difference, but it's definitely, something that you can optimize. See, out on Baron now, he gets to go mid. He flashed on the Jhin there. That was pretty interesting. He probably could have held his E2, expecting the Jhin to Gale Force. Now, Jhin did end up Gale Forcing into the path of his E2, so that was nice. But, if you know that a target's going to use some ability, then you can hold on to your E2. You don't have to spam it right away. And, holding onto that E2, you can maybe get it out of them because they're expecting you to cast it. And then once they've cast it, then you react with your E2 that you held, and then you are still able to get on them. So, overall, pretty decent game. Used some of the stuff from before. I actually didn't see where he placed his control that he used. Now that I think about it. So maybe he just sold it again. I actually don't remember. Yeah. Several improvements. He went for the death cap instead of the void staff. Void staff in this situation would have been pretty worthless. So definitely a huge increase in power just going for the death cap there. The side landing was a bit weird early on, but I mean he went top and he was fine there. Later in the game he ended up going bot lane and that was perfectly fine. Got an inhibitor out of that. while his team was topside. So, overall was pretty good. Oh, I also he did end the game with a sweeper here. I don't remember when he bought this. Can I actually go back and see? So at this point, okay, he was 1.5 items. He didn't have it. So he had it by about 2 items, so that was fine. Um, normally I buy that at buy the sweeper at about 1.5 items because that's when the damage output just goes up by a lot, and it's better to, remain unseen to the enemy because if they face check into you, then you can get a free kill. But if it's warded, they won't face check and they'll probably just kill you. So he did get it slightly later than I would normally do, but sometimes I forget too, and I get it around this point. So I just recommend if you can remember, get it at about 1.5 items for this build. Maybe a little bit later for the Conqueror build because it has a bit lower damage output, but overall, pretty decent performance. The main things, I think at this point it's pretty, um, I think he knows his limits a decent amount. Limit testing is definitely really important on Sylas, because there's just so much that the champion can accomplish. And if you don't know your limits, you're gonna have a lot of missed opportunities. And he's improving his building, and he's also working on side laning. So at this point, I would just say, you kind of got to improve mechanics. His combos aren't bad, but they definitely could be a lot faster, and that's for anyone watching really. You can always improve your combos. There's just so many ways that you can use your abilities on Sylas because all of his abilities do a lot of damage individually, and they all individually have very strong effects that differ from each other. So there are like infinite ways that you can string them together. There's just not really one specific combo to use in every situation, as opposed to other champions like Echo, who has kind of like an EQ combo, and he has others obviously, but that's like the main one. On Sylas, it's there are so many different ways to use your abilities. So my main thing is you gotta just be very comfortable. Just be very comfortable with using each one of your abilities on their own and after each other ability, and it'll make your gameplay a lot more fluid and just a lot faster. So that was another replay coaching of Mr. Fearless Oreos on the Sylas mid. This time was against a Viktor. Pretty rough matchup in general, but he managed to do pretty well. His bot lane was not doing so well early game, but they did end up coming back. So anyway, hopefully you learned something. Hopefully this can help you in your games. This was gold elo, by the way. I didn't mention it earlier, but it'll be in the title and the thumbnail, so you'll see it from there. And if you like this content, you want to see more, consider liking and subscribing, leaving a comment. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.